What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby.
I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is another Friday night, and that means it is time for the best wrestling show on A2D Radio.
The only one.
Shut up. In this very ring. I am the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. I'm back from Disney. It's Ritz. The man to my left is the mayor of Toasty Town. It is Butters. This is the part where you say hi.
Hi.
Oh, two separate mics. I love it.
We did last
Been
time.
doing it like for the past, 3-4 weeks?
Yeah. And
First and foremost, we haven't all been together the
Captain
past 3 or 4 weeks, so that's a lot.
Captain Oblivious over here is the OGP. He is the man, the myth, the legend. Fourth now of Birds of a Feather?
I mean, I host a show now, so I would think that I'm more than that.
All right, I was going to give everybody credit, but the host of the premier Eagle show, Birds of a Feather, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pete Evans.
Wow. Thank you, Andy, aka
AKO?
Joel Gertner Jr. Ritz. Thank you so much, sir.
I don't have a neck brace on.
I mean, you have to have a neck to have that. I'm just saying.
Damn.
Woo!
Damn. Anyway, as
Anywho,
the Phillies go up 5-2.
Go Stros.
you're definitely ahead of me then.
Okay, so we'll react when you react. So here's the whole point. We're still doing our wrestling show tonight, but this is Pete's first time doing our show when the Phillies are on, because we do tend to fall in line a lot with the playoffs over the last few years. And what we do is we keep them on. We do little, read-ins, little reactions to them as the night progresses. We have Pete on. We'll let him comment. We'll bring up our thoughts and different things about the ALCS, the NLCS throughout the course of the show. I'm sure it'll get brought up. But we are here for one reason and one reason only. And we're here because of Alan Z Travel. Alan Z Travel specializes in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts, including yours truly, create a custom vacation for you without any of the stress. Alonz on over to alonz-travel.com/take the trip to get in touch with myself or this man right here, Mr. Chuck Smaranin, and we can get your next magical vacation scheduled today. Our topic of conversation tonight, Jade Cargill will cost Becky Lynch the title at Halloween Havoc. That is what, next week, or is that tomorrow?
Next week.
That is next week. Well, we're doing this early.
It's a two-nighter, so it's going to be next week and the week after.
Fair enough.
That would be a 2-weeker. I'm just saying.
I also agree.
Two-nighter, two-weeker, tweaker, tweener. I don't know.
Okie dokie then. But we are previewing Halloween Havoc tonight. We're going to recap a lot of things that have happened that I've missed that I want to weigh in on a little bit that you guys may or may not. I didn't think
you did weigh-ins.
Funny. I didn't get a chance to catch last week's show. I was in Disney, so I do want to comment on a few things that I've noticed. And then, like I said, we're going to be talking baseball in and out throughout the show. So,
oh boy, looks like they're having technical difficulties.
No, it's not a commercial. I'm streaming it on TBS, so when it's a commercial, I get this.
Oh.
So we're going to start with Pete. Jade Cargill will cost Becky the title at Halloween Havoc. We know that Becky and Jade had a little stare off this past week on NXT.
Wasn't a stare off. To set it up, it was a backstage segment with Becky and I think Lyra, just Becky talking about her new book and the title. And there's a TV in the background. As Becky walks off, TV pops on. Jade's on the TV and just starts looking at Becky, shaking her head.
Well, see, from the picture I saw, it was a stare off.
I disagree to the poll because I think Becky is going to win, and I think Jade is the next opponent and ultimately going to take the title off of her. I don't think there's enough heat there for her to cost her the title, but I do think it's enough there that you can then come out and she can lay her claim as the next champion of NXT. Which theoretically, honestly, we've been saying this maybe like hot-shotting her to the main roster. But truth be told, for right, wrong, or indifferent, when she was in AEW, she did not have the main women's title in that promotion as well. Nor did she. She never was the AEW. I don't think she competed for the AEW women's title.
No, she never went after the
Nope.
AEW women's title.
So she was
Never sniffed it.
the TBS women's champion, which is probably the equivalent of an NXT women's championship.
And in all fairness, as soon as she lost the title, she got the fuck up out of it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well,
she did business and left.
And it's interesting because they paraded this woman around all three shows.
Mm-hmm.
She's had interactions with everybody.
Yep.
You know, whether it's an interaction backstage with Adam Pearce or an interaction with Charlotte Flair or an interaction and I'll call it an interaction, right? Because it's what it was, right? With Becky on Tuesday. They made her and her social media too. Have you guys been watching that?
Mm-hmm.
Her social media has really been, where is she gonna go? She hasn't really given anybody an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I messaged you guys tonight and I said we may have to do a rewrite of this show.
Yep.
Because if you go back and you watch Charlotte EO for the title on SmackDown tonight, they were building Charlotte as this very, very strong, very, very powerful
Match
type
pissed me
of
the fuck off.
individual. And now ultimately we saw Bianca Belair made her return. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I said to you guys, I said, hey, I think Charlotte's going to win. And I think Jade's coming out tonight. Because as much as I could see Jade Becky being the next feud, and it probably make the most sense,
Mm-hmm.
I think more people want Jade Charlotte or Jade Bianca.
I think you do Jade Charlotte at Mania. You hold that match to your biggest platform.
But here's the kicker with that. And it's just notorious, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you bring in a hot new talent, that hot new talent automatically becomes a babyface because everybody's excited that they're there.
Mm-hmm.
So right out the gate, you're going to take your hottest babyface on Monday Night Raw in Becky Lynch, and you're going to put her up against an unopposed babyface in Jade Cargill. Because
who says she's going to be a babyface?
No. I get where you're going with that, right?
Yeah.
But she could walk out there and slap Becky Lynch in the face with a chair. And people are still going to cheer because Jade Cargill is in NXT. Jade Cargill is on Raw, right? So your undeniable babyface rub, right? To put them in that match, no one's going to give it the respect that it. Not that nobody's going to respect it, right? But it's not going to hold the weight that it should if Jade was a bona fide bad bitch heel.
I just see it as you build it up for Mania. They were already building tension between the two GMs. So now you've got this Raw versus SmackDown set up for Mania. Jade versus Charlotte.
Are they building? So, and again, I missed and by the way, the only thing I saw was a bullshit reveal of Nick Aldis.
Oh, last week?
Bullshit.
This week it was more of.
Yeah, I want to say something, but I'm gonna let you both finish because I think y'all both off base for different reasons. But go ahead.
What else is new?
But no, good. I think when I get through it, I think it'll make sense.
All right, come on.
You had Jay come out and save John Cena, smacking around Jimmy. They They get back into the office with you got Nick wanting to find Jay for interfering. You've got the Raw GM saying, well, if you're doing that to Jay, why not Jimmy for interfering on Raw? Nick Aldis has both of them escorted out, teasing a nice little tension between both GMs.
But here, and I'm going to go to Pete. The only thing I want to say, remember what's happening next month.
No, I get that.
Right? For you to say WrestleMania, I think is a big stretch because I think we're getting back to the true Raw versus SmackDown at Survivor Series, and dare I say, War Game style. But Pete, you said we were off base. Why?
Well, you kind of tied the loop on what I was going to say about his comment about them building to Mania. I think especially when Pierce walks out after being advised that he's going to be escorted from the building, when all this says escort them both from the building, he says let the games begin. Hence,
okay, see, I missed that.
So
okay, yeah, I missed that one.
So that's the Easter egg right for War Games. But here's the thing I think we're missing on Jade, right? And even in the chat, Poe, Hockey Happy Hour, Jake, who's on with me on Birds of a Feather on Tuesday nights, they're both agreeing with the poll. And here's the thing, right? I get it. Jade's new to the audience. They have promoted her well. You still can give her the rub with Becky, regardless of face, heel, face. It doesn't matter. Becky main evented at WrestleMania, and at the end of the night, she was the one being two belt Becks, right? That's a main star. That's a main rub. Even now, laying the groundwork, what you said tonight when you texted and you said, hey, it may be a rewrite because I think Jay's going to come out. They're doing it well because they've had Bianca back there for the last 6 weeks, just not doing nothing. Like, you haven't seen her on TV. All this, when you said being strong, Charlotte showing off her strength, showing off her agility, you forget that Bianca promotes herself as the EST. Now, to me, I don't ever think Bianca and Charlotte really, truly, truly had the program that I think they should have had. And here's the thing where I think they're going with it. I think it's time for Bianca to go heel. And if you do that, you give me a heel Bianca who joins up with Profits and Lashley. You see what I'm saying? And then you got Charlotte doing her thing. Because theoretically, I mean, Charlotte is great in the ring, but in IRL, in real life, she can't touch Bianca pound for strength.
No.
And honestly, I don't even think Jade can.
I think Jade might.
Jade might be able to.
It'd be
so. In all fairness to Jade, and this is where I'll
right.
defend Jade only because there's not enough evidence on it. Right.
Right.
We've seen Bianca bench and all this other stuff. Right.
Right.
You don't get a lot of that out of Jade.
No.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's also Jade is still a lot greener. I mean, I would also say, this is going to. I think Rhea's stronger than all of them.
I'll give you that.
Yeah,
yep.
Like, I mean, Rhea's just.
So we'll get to that another day. Probably never on stream. But if you think
maybe a Rumble stream.
Oh God, our Rumble stream. Ay, caramba. If you think about how the night ended tonight,
right,
and you think about Bianca comes out, she makes the save, right, and then there's that very standard. Bianca's a little bit behind Charlotte, right? They're trying to close the show, and they gave it to us. They gave us that platform where you could turn around and say, hey, you know what? Bianca's gonna clock her. And then she's going to join up with the Profits. What the hell just flew across your screen?
Son, I mean, it's Jersey. It's humid.
Probably a bug.
But it looked like almost like a supernova. I was like, yo.
Some type. But so I think you get that. They have Crown Jewel's its own thing, and they're setting up to be a big show. But all these other non-major title stories are getting built for Survivor Series, where I think you can have, all right, so you already got EO. I don't think Dakota's close to coming back, right? But you could probably do a women's Raw, SmackDown, 4 versus 4, 5 versus 5, and you could put EO and Bailey on one team with a Piper, Chelsea, or whatever else, and then you can have Charlotte, Bianca, insert whoever else you want, then that's when the turn happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because to the point, I mean, here's the biggest thing I said about the Jade thing, right? No, not to discredit Jade whatsoever. You're a new face. But Bianca main evented at WrestleMania as well. She held the title for over a year. She's already an established star. Jade isn't that yet to the WWE audience mainstream. That's why I think it behooves them to have her rub with Becky first. Pause. Have her have her program with Becky first, but because then you introduce her to the WWE audience on a development level, and you have her take the title off Becky, then you have her stay in NXT where she can kind of do her own thing and groom her name and to be that but ultimately look who she took the title off of. She took the title off of a woman who's a Grand Slam champion, who's one of the original 4 horsewomen, right?
Yeah.
So that's enough for her. So you got her being established, and then you got Bianca and Charlotte do whatever she wants to do, and then that doesn't even need to be for a title or anything like that. You feel what I'm saying? So that's where I'm thinking of it with, and it's really, as much as we want to see Jade, as much as we want to see her interact, I think there's time for that. I like Butter said, he said it. He didn't articulate it the best, but I get his thought process where he was like Jade versus Charlotte or Jade at WrestleMania. So that's the benefit of this. You still have time to build to all of that, right? But at this point, I'm tired of seeing her just looking like $1 million, doing all these run-ins, these not even vignettes, but just doing all these to stand there. Like, it's time to get physical at this point.
Exactly, and here's the other thing, right? Because Pete brought it up about Jade being on NXT, and as he was talking, I was thinking about it. What's the big benefit that everybody has with NXT versus a show in like the Toyota Center for Monday Night Raw?
You mean outside of the audience?
But that's my main focus. It's an intimate setting.
And you get the same. It's almost like if you go back and you watch promos of Saturday morning WCW, like it was one studio.
I was watching cartoons.
I understand that, but I mean, by the time you was a kid, I don't even think WCW Saturday morning was a thing.
Probably
but,
not.
All right, say for instance, what NWA is doing right now, Billy Corgan, and I think they film out of Atlanta, right, in Georgia somewhere.
They film out of one location, yeah.
It's that one location, so you get your core audience, you get your core members, right? So that's kind of what you can have with Jay. Like the Chase shoes always in the same section, right? So you have all that to where you can. It's a more of a live TV is live TV. We all know that, right? But you could have a more controlled environment for live TV, and they have that. Regardless, she has physical charisma, star power. She already has that. But in WWE, unlike AEW, you need to be able to go in the ring as well. And she needs to get herself to that point somewhat. Like, I don't want her to be another Eva fucking Marie. Eva Marie obviously dropped down on the eyes and everything else. Charisma out there, wahoo. But when you got in the ring, it's flat. You see what I'm saying? So they're trying to protect her from doing that again. If Eva Marie had NXT, bro, oh my God, like it would be.
She had NXT for a hot minute. And
I'm talking about start to finish.
From the get-go. I get where he's going with that.
Oh, okay.
But hold on. Here's my biggest concern with Jade. And I've been saying this since her AEW days. She on the microphone is either really, really good
or really bad.
Or incredibly terrible.
Yep.
There is no in between with her.
Nope.
And I think being at NXT, where they're a little bit more forgiving with the promos, because they sit and by the way, I got to give a big shout out to the NXT crowd. They sit through some shit, and they power through, and they keep the energy and the hype, and big shout out to that crowd out there. But anyway, it's a safety net for Jade to get used to get comfortable, to get used to the WWE system before they go, all right, cool. main roster time.
Would you say it's almost for her to get used to the WWE universe?
That too. Because I think the WWE universe, compared to the people that go watch AEW, they're watching wrestling for different things. The AEW fans, right?
Right.
They're going, and for lack of a better phrase, they're just going to watch wrestling.
Right.
Right. So if the whole show, and it normally is a giant clusterfuck, that doesn't matter to them. Whereas as a WWE fan, when I go, because I've never been to an AEW show, they just don't come here for.
They were here Wednesday.
I wasn't.
This past Wednesday?
I wasn't here.
I'm talking like this week. You got back in last Saturday.
Oh, they were just here. You see, but I don't know those things either.
I didn't know.
They're horrible at promoting where they're at.
Right. Like I know they're in Philly next week.
I literally did not know they were here until like the week before.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress, right?
Because I might have actually bought tickets just to go for once.
I've never been to an AEW show. And so, but when I go to a WWE show, when I watch a WWE show, I watch it for a story from start to finish.
Mhm.
I know there's going to be a main overarching story. Look, for example, a bloodline story, right? But then there's also going to be an A plot, a C plot, a B plot, a D plot, right? There's going to be all these other little things. So I'm watching a 3-hour or a 2-hour episode, whereas with AEW, I'm watching 2 hours of just wrestling.
Right.
And it doesn't make one company better than the other, right? It makes them different, and that's where you have a lot. And Pete, it was your comment from last week, right? Your quote that got put out talking about AEW, and I'm paraphrasing here a little bit. AEW and WWE aren't really competing on the same level,
Right.
and it's because they're not. They're such different platforms, but it benefits the entire wrestling industry.
Yep.
And that's what people forget, and that's what people lose sight of.
Yes.
Is that moment of we have the best product in pro wrestling today.
You have something. There's a
board.
promotion for all flavors of what you want. Right. You know what I mean? Like if you want just straight wrestling, good wrestling, in-ring work, AEW is your thing. If you want a storytelling, WWE is your thing. If you want like over-the-top production, over-the-top characters, WWE is where you need to be. If you want an indie-type feel with better production, that's what AEW was created for, in my opinion. You feel what I'm saying? But
it was created for the indie guy. It was created for the guy that is never going to perform in front of more than 800 people in a bingo hall. It was created for the guy that, God bless, they just walked him on pull. Fuck.
This guy's been walking everybody.
But it was created for, and no disrespect to these names, but it was created for the Darby Allins, the Orange Cassidys, the Young Bucks. Granted, the Young Bucks had New Japan, right? But for the Sammy Guevaras, right? For Lucha Bros, for like all these guys that are in there that have been
MJF, honestly,
MJF that would have never made it to the top.
Yep.
Of WWE. They would have never gotten a shot at WWE. This is the launching pad, right? And if I wanted to be a sick son of a bitch, I would call AEW the minor league and WWE the majors. Right? If we want to take a baseball punt.
Correct.
Right? And then you've got things like Impact and granted ROH is owned by AEW, right? But you've got some of these other major Impact.
New Japan, NWA, I mean.
But just stateside, because New Japan is big in Japan, right? But Impact, even NWA, right? That's your true developmental, right? So it is. There's such a different vibe. We're gonna get to Butters because Butters still hasn't weighed in. By the way, I don't think he's officially said if he agrees.
No, he's chimed in, but he hasn't weighed into the.
But what we're gonna do, we're gonna throw it to a commercial real fast, right? We're gonna thank our friends at Royal Billiards. They just did a live vetted show this past week. I heard it was awesome. But this is a message from our sponsor, Royal Billiards.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
All right, we want to thank Royal Billiards for sponsoring A2D Radio and all the shows that we do here. Butters, weigh in for us, right? Jade, she costing Becky the title at Halloween Havoc.
I don't weigh myself. I already know I'm fat.
Ah, fuck off.
What's wrong, Pete? Anywho,
that bitch got scaleophobia, bitch.
No, I just know the scale's gonna break when I get on it. Anyways, yes, no, I will agree to the poll. Jade will cost Becky the match. I think this is just to get. She will be on the main roster. It'll be Raw. It'll be Jade and Becky going at it. I think this is what sets it up. You'll have Lyra Valkyria as your new NXT Women's Champion. You'll have the NXT will be back to normal with its, NXT Women's Champion. Becky will be back on Raw trying to beat the shit out of Jade. And you have this nice whole little storyline between Jade and Becky.
So you think Jade cost? Let me make sure I understand this correctly. You think Jade cost her the title, and they both go to Raw?
Well, yeah, because Becky's on Raw, still technically. And they continue this feud. Jade will be a Raw superstar. She'll be main roster. I don't think she'll hit NXT.
Not a fan.
And I'm not either. And the reason why is because you just had Nia come back. And she's kind of fringe, heel, whatever. She's kicking ass, taking names. But you got Shayna, who they turned face. Then you got Raquel, who's face. I think the Raw women's division right now, as far as heels and faces, is okay. You know what I mean? That's good enough. Like what they have as far as main roster on both brands, I think is okay. I don't see a spot for Jade right now there, right? To the point to where they're taking Raw stars to come to NXT and defend the championship against to go against Becky, right? I'm sorry. Just hit boom. But no, like, so you had Tegan Knox come back, you had Indy come back, right? Yeah. So I think that's where you got to think this thing through. This is why Sean and Triple H to be a content officer, right? To kind of write this thing out, script it out, is you have to think about all angles, what's best short term and long term. I think where Jade is needed the most is NXT. Now, once again, I'm not saying that it's a knock to her because of she can't do it on the main roster. I just don't know where you put her. She comes out in the flashy robes and all that shit already. I don't think you can do like she doesn't. Her and Charlotte almost then there had the same similar entrance, right? Presence, because she comes out in the robes and all that. You don't know what she's going to come out in. You can't even look. I mean, listen, blonde hair and all that shit. The way they bring her in, like, and the outfits that she's wearing, she looks like a straight up diva. You feel what I'm saying? So that is something that you don't have in NXT. And once again, I'll go back to what I'm saying with Nia coming back, with Shayna there. They're trying to establish that. Raquel coming back. I don't know where you would fit her in NXT. And here's the other thing, Butters. She's not coming in here to feud without a fucking title. What else is she coming here for? That's why I said I don't think I think that night one, week one of Halloween Havoc, what they should be calling it, because it's not like they're doing back-to-back nights. That match, let that shit ride. Let Becky win, and then she comes out.
Well, so hold on. Let's ask a couple questions here.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween Havoc.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a Tuesday?
Yes.
You could essentially take Pete's idea, Becky win on Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
the Monday before week 2, right? If Jade comes out, great, right? After Becky wins, or Becky doesn't win, you set up Becky, Jade, week 2.
On Monday night. You can do that too because they've done that. They've been using Monday night.
Which is
I love it.
Say that sentence one more time. They're using Monday Night Raw as a catapult for NXT.
Yes, the next night. They're using it for a lead in and it's crazy because they have their talent so committed to where they could be on one side of the country and then they're flying into Orlando because probably I would say, what do you think the percentage of the talent that lives in Florida? 60%?
A good chunk of them because most of those sons of bitches end up in Disney.
Right. So we saying like 40 50%. You feel what I'm saying?
50 to 60.
Yeah. So when you have that, it's like, all right, I'm flying home. I'll be going to Florida anyway if I'm on Monday night, right? So I'm just all right. Instead of me just going home and having the day off, I can do a little work, whatever. Then boom, I don't have nothing to do until the weekend. So, and the other benefit is too, right? You can work on her production value of her entrance, her ring attire will get what works for her, right? Because you figure. And they also do house shows in Florida. I don't think she'll be doing house shows like that. But if she's the NXT woman, she needs as much live action work and promo work, if you will. Like, God rest your soul, Dusty. But that's what she needs. She need, like Butter said, like Rich said, like Rich said, she needs that consistency.
Do I look bald to you?
You know what I mean? Where imagine right now, like what? So if we go with Butter's idea, right? She debuts on Monday Night Raw with Becky. She has to cut a promo, and they're just in the ring. She looks like $1 million. She's just like, but then she has to. You can't. I mean, I don't think Becky's the best promo in the world. She's definitely better than Jade. You're just gonna have her run. You're gonna have her run laps around her, and that's not a good look. You don't want that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
What I like is, and you brought it up, you said it, diva, right? They kind of had this thing going in NXT, not NXT, in AEW, where Jade was kind of like this baddie, right? The women in WWE are so far removed from that you bring Jade in, and it's almost Tiffany Stratton-esque.
I was going to say it.
Right, it's very, very Tiffany Stratton-esque, but you're bringing her in, right, with the fur coats coming out of the Escalade, right, coming out, and she's looking like Pete said, like $1 million, this, that, and the other thing. It is a distinctive look that no one else has, right? Because she's a big bitch, right? And she's she has a very commanding presence when she's in any shot. And that you can't teach that. Right? Tiffany Stratton, borderline the same style. Tiffany does not command the room when she's in a shot.
No.
No disrespect. But she's not there yet. No. Right? Because they paid Jade money week in and week out on AEW to go out there and stand there and let somebody else talk for it.
I'm so glad you brought that up. They had the lawyer Mark Sterling. Like, so that's the thing, Butter's like, and this is not to discredit you, cut your legs out from underneath you, but if you go back, you really look at her time at AEW, it was her and then other things to draw you away from her weaknesses.
Yep.
So you had Mark Sterling. The biggest thing she said, what she would say, Tony, cut the shit. You know what I mean? Or cut what? Yeah, or something like that. You can't do that unless they have a mouthpiece for her, and we just don't know yet. And I don't know who that can be.
I don't either. But I don't. There is a part of me that does not want that.
Me either, because I want her to be able to stand on her own.
Copy and pasting the AEW formula, and when
this is wrestling,
has that ever worked?
This is wrestling. You're copy and pasting everything, regardless.
Listen, LA Knight is copy and pasting the Attitude Era greatest, the greatest forms from the Attitude Era.
But and as I've said it, he's the Super Scroll of the Attitude Era.
Yep.
But you're taking the best qualities. You're not completely taking the character that you were for a totally different audience and bringing it over to a more story-driven, a more promo-driven audience and praying to God that it works.
And Butters, the other thing is, too, you can, to speak to Andy's point, is look at what they're doing with BPJ. They're leaning into the fact that, yes, his name is Brian Pillman Jr., but he's already saying, I don't want to be known by that anymore. I want to be known by myself. And he's now going by Lexis King. Got to work on the name. I get it. That lineup he had, God, whoever gave him that haircut, Jesus Christmas, like that, his lines were sharp.
Looking like NWO Hulk Hogan over there.
So, but from that standpoint, that kind of leans into the fact that, like, yo, they're not trying to do. They're already trying. They want to introduce the person, but they're giving you a different version of that person. Outside of Cody, honestly, the version of Cody we see now, that was never in WWE. He cultivated that on Indies and AEW. Then you brought it back. Well, I don't know even Drew. Go back to Drew. I was just watching something came up because of the match in Crown Jewel. On WWE YouTube, they had the 2012. They had the NXT qualifying tournament. It was quarterfinal, I think semifinals or quarterfinals. It was Drew versus Seth Rollins, and even Drew then versus Drew when he came back, completely different version of himself.
Well, and here let's take Cody for example for a second, right? Cody is just Cody. He is not really portraying a character per se.
He's himself.
Right? He is just himself. Drew, to a certain extent, I watched some of Drew's stuff when he went away because he wrestled for What Culture Pro Wrestling for a little bit, which exposed me to some other, because he was doing a lot of overseas stuff. That exposed me to ICW and some other different promotions over there. That's what he was doing there because he was just being Drew Galloway.
Yeah.
Right? All they did was brought him back and slapped a different last name on him and gave him a kilt. Right? But everything else has just been what he was doing on that overseas circuit. The problem with Lexis, right? Which if I understand where they got the name from, then I'm okay with it. Right? If they're trying to do some Tiger King knockoff bullshit,
that's my mind.
That's the first thing when I see him, that's the first thing I see.
Did I say, wasn't it from his sister and mom?
I thought it was both sisters.
No, I thought it was one was sister and one was mom.
Right. No, so his sister's name was Lexi.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the one who passed away in a car accident. So I don't know where the King part came in.
I think that the last part is his mom's last name, maiden name or something like that. I think her last name is King.
Okay.
But it's just names that are still in the family, basically, which is great.
I love that, right? Because now it wraps the whole family tribute up. But if you think about what he's doing, he's honoring his dad while still trying to make a name without being his dad. But his dad was a character. His dad came up in the wrestling world where you had to be a character.
Yep.
Right? So him coming in, they have to make him a character. They can't let him just be himself. Granted, some of the best... Oh, we've got to... Nope. All right, cool. Sorry, the game's still on.
I'm watching it. I'm listening to you, but I'm watching the game.
But sorry, I thought it was out of the park. I got really scared. I lost my entire train of thought. But from a character basis, right? Some of the best wrestlers right now are themselves just turned up to 11. We heard it all the time when Bradshaw became JBL. John Bradshaw Layfield was Bradshaw turned up to 11. Right?
Yeah.
We're going to see that, I think, with Jade. Because I've been watching her social media more and more and more. Whether she's taking kayfabe to, the next level, or this is really her. Right? The biggest concern, and then we haven't danced around, we've talked about it, but the biggest thing is when she opens her mouth.
Correct.
Right? So to wrap it all up in a big nutshell, I think Jade does cost Becky the title. Right? But I don't think we get Jade Becky right out of it. Okay? Because I think she turns around and then lays out what's her name? I'm sorry, I blanked.
Lyra Valkyrie.
Lyra. I think she lays out Lyra.
Because that's going to be your main event for the night.
Right? Well, it's because it's the only damn match on the card worth a damn. And she holds up the NXT women's title. Because to Pete's point, the NXT women's division, yes, thank God for somebody like Tiffany Stratton was the blooming flower to come out of this. But they need some kind of star power. You've had to rely on bringing Raw superstars back for both the men and the women.
And I don't think that was because they felt as if Tiffany wasn't a strong enough champion. I think they felt as if Tiffany it was Tiffany and everybody else in the women's division. So they needed something. Like, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Ever since I think Roxanne has regressed. Ever since she took the title off Mandy, I think she's regressed. I don't think she's playing out the way you want. I kind of see Blair Davenport a little bit, but also
I don't
know if they can. Do you see someone like Blair Davenport, WWE truly getting behind and putting a title on? Now Gigi's different, but they start and stop with Gigi all the time.
My thing is, what is going on with Cora? What the hell is going on?
That's another one.
They were doing good with her, and all of a sudden,
taking pictures with Bron.
What?
Is it a home run? Son of a bitch.
It's now 5-5, bottom of the 8th, 1 out.
Stop fucking putting Kimbrel in the game, bro.
Isn't he who fucked it up the other night?
Yes.
This is Chicken Wing Boy, isn't it?
Yes.
Fuck. Damn it. All right, back to what we're talking about, because then we're going to go to commercial here in a minute.
But you've got a lot of good women on that roster. It's just a matter of, like, to Pete's point, with Gigi, the stop starting, to Cora, what the hell are we doing with her, Jade?
No idea.
And then what do you got? What's her name? Gigi's old partner,
JC.
But I like what JC's doing with Thea.
Yeah,
I like how they tied them back in to Chase U.
But I think there's a massive Chase U heel turn coming.
Yes.
And
it's going to be when Chase, he's been fighting it. And I think they're going to start to be so successful to the point where I think they may take the titles off the family and then they just lean into it.
Yeah, they're going to definitely lean into it. It's going to have a lot to do with her.
Mm-hmm.
And like some weird manipulation of Chase to get him to lean into it.
Yeah. I don't know how these listen. I'm a Jordan fanatic. I don't know how these fucking dudes wrestle on Jordans, bro. Like, they're not.
I've never ever even try to pair on.
They're not the most supportive, bro. Like, at all. Like, I don't understand. Yeah. No.
Let's go to commercial, and then I guess we can talk about Halloween Havoc.
Lovely. All right, we're gonna thank our friends from Carlino's. They also just had a live show too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did Vetted the Thursday before last. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Damn, now I'm hungry.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, dude, you should have seen the spread they had there.
This ad came in while, as I was leaving, right?
Mhm.
So I didn't watch it.
I ain't seen it.
I just said, put it up, right? Let it run. This is my first time watching that ad. Fuck.
Yep.
This
is where we need to get Buc-ee's as a sponsor, so you could do a show on site,
dude. They have a beaver nugget candle. My buddy picked it up for me today because he does
beaver nugget candle. What?
Yeah, he does the HVAC systems for them. So he's always in Buc-ee's. So every so often he'll grab me something. I saw it on my way to Disney, and I didn't want to buy it because I didn't want it to melt. We never hit a Buc-ee's on the way back because I didn't want to stop for anything but gas.
Right.
On the way back.
Understandable.
And I had a full tank. I couldn't make it on the current tank to the Buc-ee's.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to stop and fill up anyway.
Damn.
So it's just the worst timing on the way back. But I'm so excited for that. But did I catch in that Carlino's promo? They send stuff around the nation?
Yes, they do. That's not. I mean, sorry. Side note: the Phillies game. That's not good because he just went right at the knees of their best player. So in baseball, it's these unwritten rules. If they feel as if that's dirty, that means one of our best players, aka Bryce Harper, is probably going to get thrown at.
They're looking ready to run out that bullpen. All of them.
Well, I mean,
and he's a rookie too, so he's not even getting paid. He's getting paid fucking peanuts.
Fuck that.
Well, I mean, bro, baseball is like they have control over you for like 6 years or 5 years. Like once you get called up to the big leagues, you're up there. Like they have control of you for 5 years, and I think you're not arbitration eligible until the third year or fourth year, which means you can kind of say, "Hey, this is what I'm worth to the team," and then you can get more money. But all right, enough baseball talk.
All right.
Walk us through this shit show that's going to be
Halloween Havoc.
God damn it.
Night/week/1.
Hold on. Silent Hill's in the chat. We got to give him shout out. Just getting here. Going to have to disagree with the poll. I'd want Jade to take the title from Becky instead of costing her the title.
I agree.
Interesting
take.
All
right. Walk us through this shit show.
All right, Lexis King versus To Be Determined.
So he's actually having a match.
Yes, correct. He is having a match.
So
Dante Chen.
So we're doing. What'd you say?
I said it's gonna be Dante Chen.
But we're having.
Yeah, he announced he was gonna have his debut match at Halloween Havoc.
Why not promote that against somebody known? Because now all that tells me is we're going to do the standard bullshit that we do with a debut.
Standard squash match?
It's going to be a 3-minute squash match.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to hype anybody up. We're not going to get to see this kid's talent, right? To see if he can actually go.
Mm-hmm.
Why do that? Why not say, hey, he's going to, make his debut. Don't tell me it's an in-ring debut. Don't tell me anything, right? Just say, he shows up next week at Halloween Havoc.
Right.
I mean, he's already in a goddamn Halloween costume.
I'm a mixture of my dad and Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
That or he looks like Hogan and Tiger King's love child.
You guys are terrible.
I mean, come on. Yeah. And Silent Hill again. Should have given him Corbin.
They still got a whole
Corbin.
week 2 to go.
Because to me, if I see him versus Corbin, I don't think Corbin to me has been an unsung hero at NXT for like the last 3 or 4
Yeah. He's been doing pretty good lately.
Well, and I said it when he went back down there. It's the best thing that happened to NXT at the time because they gutted NXT, which they do every draft, and it's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But what was different this time versus other times, there were people there on the rise. There were people there ready to go. When you gutted it this time, you left Mello down there by himself, and even Mello was kind of mid, right? He's kind of stalled out.
I was about to say, at best you had was Breaker to go with him,
but Breaker went down.
Breaker. That's my thing where it's like WrestleMania, NXT Stand Delivered. You had Mello take the title off, and then we had the rematch. Then you had Breaker turn. He's still there. Like, I don't understand why he's still there.
I'll tell you why he's still there. I'll tell you exactly why he's still there.
Tell me, sir.
Because now I'm going to get on my fucking soapbox. Because you have the son of a Hall of Famer, the nephew of arguably one of the craziest minds in the fucking business.
Yes.
You had him come out, and this is the guy that ended the NXT Black and Gold era. This is the guy that ushered in NXT 2.0. This is the guy that ushered in the weird Saturday morning cartoon style of NXT. And then you did nothing. You did absolutely fucking nothing with him. Right? You gave him no character arc. You gave him no storyline. All he did was go out there and spear people. Big fucking deal.
Right.
Right? We bitched about it with Baron Corbin. We bitched about it with Damian Priest. They were all at some point in their career less interesting than vanilla extract. Right? And now you have Bron Breakker, who led the division. The other two idiots didn't do much in NXT. This guy was on the mountaintop.
and you let him fall.
You didn't just let him fall. You kicked that son of a bitch. Like, you strapped a rocket ship to him. Mm-hmm. You let him get about 15, 20 feet in the air, and then you hit the emergency kill switch. I don't get it, right? And now you just have him randomly beating people up.
Yep. Which, you know what? That'll bring me, let's go with, that'll bring me to that real quick. Mr. Stone versus Bron Breakker.
I don't know where Von Wagner's at either.
I think Von Wagner's coming back.
So, no, I think he is, because he's doing, they aired a video recap, but it was Wagner in rehab with Mr. Stone, trying to get him to keep going. Wagner wanted to quit, but Mr. Stone talked him in to keep going. And so he grabbed the strap and he kept going with his rehab. And then they had Stone confront Breakker, and Stone got so pissed off, said he'd take him on at Halloween Havoc, and here we go.
But why? Of all the motherfucking people, Mr. Stone, Robert Stone. Now, the only logical thing I could say to this is that Wagner's coming back during this match, and he's going to lay waste to Bron Breakker. But again, I ask the question, gentlemen. Why do I care?
And storyline and move him on.
The same thing is starting to happen with Melo, where I'm like, what are we doing? Why did you take the title off of him anyway? Now you're doing all this to get me to trick Melo and the title needed to come off of him for that. Like, it's like you get these guys to a certain point.
Let's say this though. I'm not mad who the title went on.
No, that's true. That is true. That is true.
I also think Melo did his job.
Mm-hmm.
He got us through the rough patch of the year.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think the trick Melo thing, because I think Melo's the one that attacked him.
Well, of course, we all think that.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's setting up for Melo to win the title, potentially win the title back, and give Trick a run at the title.
Yeah.
Which Trick has, I can't believe I'm saying this either, which Trick has earned. Right? I think we're telling a bigger story here. And I don't think it's going to be at the expense of Dragunov. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because for all we know, this could lead into a triple threat match.
So who didn't Melo win the right to take take on Dragunov again?
Yes. So he won the Fatal 4-Well. Ended up being a triple match since Trick was taken out, but he ended up winning the triple threat match Tuesday night to take on Dragunov for a second time.
Which Trick is probably going to cost Melo that match.
More than likely. Because you could tell how Carmelo did not like the fact that Trick was added to that match.
Well, it's also because he went behind his back to do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That Melo's the one that attacked Trick. Like I as soon as I saw it, right? As soon as I saw that they had the Fatal 4-Way, and then I heard that Trick was out, I was like, Melo, you son bitch,
you cheeky bastard.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
He was right there.
Correct. Oh God, what happened? Somebody get help. Oh yeah, you were just magically there when he got attacked. Great.
Yeah.
Always,
They'll probably come out with like a little doorbell camera, floodlight camera angle.
Oh, you mean like, Sean versus Hunter? I wonder how that turned out.
I like that match.
I know, but it's the vibes are still the damn same.
Yeah, well.
Or Rikishi running over Stone Cold, all the vibes are still there.
Right. I did it for The Rock. I did it for the people.
And he doesn't even talk like that at all.
No, not at all.
I feel kind of deflated now that the Phillies they were up 5-2 when we started the show.
So Stone versus Bron Breakker, what are we thinking?
Hold on, I'm sorry. What'd you say, Pete?
I said I'm deflated because the Phillies are now losing. So
yeah,
get out of play.
I'll tell you what though, if we end up losing this game, and there just happens to be another game on a Friday night, no show, fellas.
Yeah,
no show. I am not gonna be that guy. I don't care about Braun versus
Silent Hill. So he says Trick versus Melo with no title on the line, and eventually he's a Trick versus Dragunov for the title.
I don't hate it.
Okay, so here's the thing. So now we're saying Trick is the bigger star than Melo. Is that what?
No, and he's not on here to say it, right? And I think I know where he's going with this here.
Okay.
Because I kind of alluded to it, and Silent Hill, let me know if I'm wrong. Melo had his time.
Yep.
Melo had his time in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It is now time for Trick to have his time in the spotlight because again, Trick has earned it. Trick has put in the work. Trick he's done the job. He did the business for everyone. Put over fucking Dominic Mysterio when Dominic Mysterio kind of had no place being in that match originally, just because he was a main roster guy, right? And no disrespect to Dom, right? But he had no business wrestling for that title, right? So, and Trick was a ping pong champion.
He was. I don't understand. I didn't understand it as well.
And there it is. Melo should be called up soon, and Trick stays in NXT. Because just like we were talking about, Trick, when you call somebody up, you have somebody set up, ready to go. And I think Melo gets called up. I think
Bron gets
Dragunov is getting called up. I think Bron's going to get called up, and I think he's going to get fired 6 months later.
Damn.
That
Bullshit.
was a bad that was a bad call.
I know that was a bad call.
These umps are ass.
Damn.
Ass.
Guess he didn't like the beard.
That's 2 inches outside. And wasn't even a good frame job.
No, it was horrible.
So next we have.
And that's what he's saying inside. I'm sorry. I'm losing my
No,
shit.
you're good. You're good. Next we have the family versus Chase U.
Chase. So I didn't even know they were doing that. What I was talking about was like slow playing it.
Okay,
Chase
so Tuesday night they had the Bada Boom Bada Bing Battle Royal. So it was a battle royal until the final two teams were in the ring. If your partner was thrown over the top rope, the whole team was eliminated.
I love those.
Once it got down to the final two, then it became a standard tag team match.
Okay.
Which it came down to Chase U and the Wolves 2.0. With Chase U coming out the victors.
Did they have an assist too?
I think they had an assist from the girls.
Okay.
But so now you have the family versus Chase U with JCJ and Thea Hill. But I do agree with you, gentlemen. I think it's going to be Chase U.
And here's why. It's going to be JC Jane and Thea Hale. They're going to cost the family the titles. The only other thing that happens here, they cost Chase U the titles.
Yeah, you mean so it's all sort of they turning them all together.
Those girls are going to
cost somebody.
They're going to be the outcome of that match.
I can agree to that.
That is other than the Becky match, that is the only match I'm paying attention to.
Blair Davenport versus Gigi Dolan in a spin the wheel, make the deal, lights out match.
And what is the lights out? Is that almost like a last man standing?
I don't
Let's
know.
see. Lights out is a no disqualification match where lighting in the arena has been limited during a match.
Oh no, they did that bullshit with the Fiend.
Okay.
So it's just gonna be really, really dark in there.
I'm surprised that wasn't a strike, fucker. I'm sorry.
But yeah, it's just gonna be really, really, really dark in there. Not completely pitch black, but oh boy. Where's it at? Here we go. Roxanne Perez versus Kiana James in a spin the wheel, make the deal, Devil's Playground match.
The fuck is that?
It's basically a hardcore match.
All right, so set this up for me though, because I don't know how we end up here.
So Roxanne Perez and Kiana James have been going at it.
Hold on,
sorry.
a second. I need to refresh my memory on Kiana James. She was one half of that weird fucked up tag team that had the titles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. What happened to the other chick?
She's doing a program of her own. She's starting, I think, fixing to start a program of her own with
Swarby.
With Barbie.
Got it.
Because I can't remember her name at this moment.
Who? Who you talking about?
Tiffany
Stratton.
Okay.
But
Barbie. Jesus.
Yeah. I think Kiana called out Roxanne, so Roxanne said, screw it, I'll take the match, and then spun the wheel backstage. Got the Devil's Playground match.
Got it.
So now we have a Devil's Playground match, basically a hardcore match, but Halloween themed, probably close to it.
Probably it'll be something stupid.
Of course, and Shotzi is your host of Halloween Havoc, by the way.
Meh.
We are going to have the two semifinal matches for the NXT Breakout tournament with Kelani Jordan versus Ariana Grace.
Kalani.
Oh, you don't want Santino's daughter winning it?
No.
You mean Mrs. Stacks?
And then the other Breakout tournament match is going to be Karmen Petrovic versus Lola Vice with Elektra Lopez.
Only because I know who Lola is. I don't know who the other chick is. Lola.
Kind of want to go Karmen on this one.
I've been a little bit out on the Breakout tournament.
Yeah.
Just because of everything going on, I've been a little bit out of it. Mm-hmm. So again, only because I don't know the other chick, I'm going Lola.
Okay.
Plus, it's fun to just say Lola.
Pete.
I'm gonna go Karmen.
All right. And then finally, of course, what we've all been talking about all night long here, Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria, singles match for the NXT Women's Championship.
Becky.
I'm going to go Lyra.
Nah, I wouldn't like that because I don't. She's not championship material, in my opinion. That's just me.
Not.
No.
She's not championship material.
But
the Jade factor. That's why I think if Jade costs her the title, very quickly Jade's in a match where Jade wins the title.
So it's like she would just be a transitional champ.
Correct. Because she can afford to be a footnote to get the title from Becky to Jade without sacrificing really anybody else. Motherfucker.
Okay, well, thank you for ending the game for me.
Sorry, it was hard not to. It was. What do you want from me?
To restraint.
I couldn't. I'm pissed.
I mean, it's 2-2. It's 2-2. You got the best pitcher in the series on the mound tomorrow, and Zach Wheeler. You should win that game. Come back home, close it out here. It's going to be colder. The young team, but this is probably the first game this season, this off season so far, or postseason, you want to say, that they got outclassed on the diamond tonight. Just dumb from managerial decisions, from just bad execution. Yeah, just dumb. And I thought the ending that they took the lead, where it was when they took the 5-2 lead, I was watching with my wife and I said, Bohm got thrown out at second trying to stretch his single out. Oh, I'm like, right. So if he didn't do that, then we would have had bases loaded again.
And now it's magically both sets of team were 2-2.
Yeah. No, now Houston is now 3-2. Yeah, they're one day.
That's right. That's right.
So they're off tomorrow, and Houston can close after losing the first 2 games at home. They won the next 3 in Arlington. Now come back to Houston.
That's right.
Yeah. It's so because you guys are near Houston. What is that like? What is that like? What is that stadium like? Does the Houston fan base, like, do they support the team throughout the season?
100%.
Christ. So, especially as we get closer to October, right? So because the Texans are such ass and the Rockets are mid,
right?
The city shuts down.
Wow.
Like when I can't. I'm turning this off. I can't watch this anymore. But when I tell you, like tonight, I didn't even realize the game started. But I looked around. I came back from lunch, and I take lunch kind of late in the day for my schedule. Came back from lunch. I looked around the store. There ain't a motherfucker in the store. I can't find any of the staff.
Wow.
Right? From like where I walk in at, I don't see anybody. I just hear this commotion. Everybody's back watching this game. Right? In our waiting area. All the managers have it on inside. And all 3 of them have different streams on. Right? It's everywhere in this damn building. It truly, honest to God, shuts down. There's no traffic. Right? Well, I lied. There is traffic because people get caught up listening to the damn game.
So, what is it? 2-3 weeks ago, Bedrock City Comic Con.
Yeah.
We're down there in Houston, the Stafford Center. Saturday's one of the big games. You know, I think it's the first big game or something like that for the playoffs for them. The game starts at 3.
Right.
Mind you, this con's going on from like 9 to 6. 3 o'clock, it's dead as fucking hell in there. You've got barely anybody.
Well,
really?
The other kicker
for
to
a
it
convention,
is, right?
yes.
The stadium is in pretty much downtown, right? It's not like Citizens Bank where it's at a sports complex. There's really nothing else around.
Just the George R. Brown right next to it.
Right? But hold on. Right? You've never been to Philly, so I'm trying to
okay.
set the stage. Right? There's Xfinity, but if you want to go watch the game somewhere, you've got to go miles away.
Yeah.
There's probably 15 different establishments just outside the stadium.
So people go down there without even tickets just to be near it.
Oh, yeah. It's a party down there in the most controlled environment ever.
Right.
Right? And then you look at all the bars up here. Like last night, we were karaoke. We weren't allowed to start till the game was over.
Wow.
Now, granted, at where I go, nobody was really watching it in comparison. A lot of people were waiting for karaoke. But people were still cheering.
Yeah.
Right? There's still a vibe. Sunday night is the Astros game. Eagles are on Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football will not be shown in any establishment in this city at all.
Yep.
Well, that's if they no. What is it? Yeah, no, yeah, because Sunday night's game 6, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So, and if they go back to back this year, this would be what, their third in 6 years?
Third or fourth?
I think it's the third because they won one. They won the one where they beat the Dodgers and they were accused of cheating.
Huge. And I remember that series.
That was games. That won 7 games.
Like I remember the way that series played out. You couldn't go anywhere and not see orange and blue.
Oh yeah.
And then, like as the series starts and the games keep going and going and going, like schools were like, "Nope, we're done. See ya." Right? Like, and then they won.
Right.
Parade day.
That was the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Parade day. I thought we were gonna close. We don't close for shit.
Yeah, I'm surprised I got pretty good memory because they said 2017 and 2022. So and the crazy thing is, like all the teams that's left, the final 4 teams, they weren't division. I think one of the teams, the Astros or Rangers, won a division, but none
Astros
like
did barely because the Rangers lost.
But I think the records were the same.
Yeah, but the
tiebreaker went to the Astros, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm saying, like, you have so many teams that had 95 plus wins, boom, gone. Like the Diamondbacks they only won 84 games. That's 3 games above being 500, being 81 to 81, and now they tied. Now this series is a best of 3, and you do got 2 games at least here in Philly, but everything is all fucking good, yo. We ain't worry about it. That's all I was hearing today on radio. We'll come back and smash them. Like, listen, man, these young boys. Arizona is so young; they don't know what they're like. To them, it's just a game. They don't know the magnitude of what they're trying to do. Really, they can't comprehend it. Whereas the Phillies, now all of a sudden, you got all this pressure on you because you made it to the World Series last year, had a two games in 1 lead, and then you lost 3 of the last 4 games. And now you had this journey, quote unquote, this is a wrestling show. I know we're very heavy in baseball, to finish the fucking story. And now you're 2 games away, not being able to finish the story.
This is such this whole NLCS, ALCS, if you really think about it, it's a wrestling promo.
Yeah.
Right? You've got the champions struggling, but they're on a comeback, right? They're hulking up, right? They're coming back to Houston for game 6, game 7.
If needed.
Yeah, if needed. Right? And then you have the runners up. They came out the gate strong. Everybody said Philly's the one to watch.
Right.
And we all said, as A2D Radio, as a staff, as a city, as a fan base, again, I'll coin it because Pete already said it. Finish the story. And yet, It's a Philly thing. We get so close, and yet we're so far away. But, you know what else is a Philly thing? Coming from behind and winning the whole goddamn thing.
They got to win tomorrow. I mean, they don't have to win tomorrow, but...
No, you have to win tomorrow. You can't come back with poor momentum.
You can't, but here...
What is this city going to do?
The bank is fucking crazy, man.
Oh, my God. I was watching game 2. The bank was rocking.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, the bank rocking like that...
They need to win one in Arizona. That's all that needs to be said.
Yeah. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know if we want to do TWIW This Week in Wrestling.
Well, we're going to do hats.com. We're going to thank them, and then we're going to come back. We'll do some This Week in Wrestling. We'll talk about a couple of things. We don't have a lot of time left, but we'll cover some bases on some things.
Okay.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com.
That was hats.com, ladies and gentlemen. I forget that it's we'll talk later. I will tell you guys a great story when we're off. Okay. But let's do a little This Week in Wrestling. Let's kind of cover a lot, right? What was it? Monday night?
Yep. Biggest thing coming out of there.
Yeah. Why the fuck are they champion again?
I think it's to continue the story between the whole Roman wanted the titles off of Cody and Jay.
It's
Roman.
Go ahead, Butters.
It's just to further that storyline of Roman, his disdain.
You go ahead and say it. You don't want to say it because it refers you to have to say 2 words with line in it right back to back. But it's to further the story of what?
Acknowledging Roman.
And of the head of what?
The God blessed table.
Why did that hurt you so bad?
He still didn't say it. He says I wanted him to say it's to progress the storyline of the bloodline. And he doesn't want to say it because we don't think this is still a thing. But jealousy is jealousy. It is what it is. You saw it tonight. But once again, I think it was the precursor to get to War Games because once again, Pierce said, let the games begin. Right? So like all this, whatever he's going to do, he's going to use his stroke as the GM of SmackDown to invoke. Maybe Roman won't even be involved, but Jimmy, Solo, Cody, Jay, and then you could interact or intertwine whatever else. Or could you even see a triple threat tag team, undisputed tag team title match? Jimmy, Solo, Jay, Cody, the Judgment Day. I mean, you could see that, but I like you, Ritz. I want to see the more traditional Survivor Series shit.
We talked about this a while back, a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago at this point. Before we decided we were going to put GMs in place, this is what I saw.
And I don't even. Was there any talks about that putting GMs in place?
Not at all. The Nick Aldis thing came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, that was just a season premiere. Hey-o, here's what we got for you. Something brand new. It's the Triple H era. Let's try it out.
But we talked about Roman, Solo, and Jimmy, and potentially Finn and Damian. Right? We weren't sure how the Bloodline Judgment Day was going to play. Right? That little feud. I mean, feud alliance bit.
Yeah.
Versus LA, Cena, Cody, Jay, and then we weren't sure Sammy, KO. We weren't sure who was going to fit in that spot. Now with KO going to SmackDown, right, you probably would say Sammy. But with it really looking like it's going to be Raw versus SmackDown, you're going to have potentially the Judgment Day and Cody and Jay having to coexist. And on the other side, you're going to have the Bloodline, LA Knight, and maybe even Cena.
So it's going to be like inner tension between both teams.
And then it's all going to break down. We're going to get what we want, right? Because the faces are going to side with the faces and the heels are going to side with the heels. And it's going to be a clusterfuck of a war game.
Right.
Right? But ultimately, at the end, when somebody pins somebody else, right, Raw could still end up winning.
Yeah.
Right? If Cody pinned Finn.
Yeah. And to answer your original question, he was like, why are they champs again? I got used to WWE having long-term investment in their champions. So you went from having the Usos having almost a year, night one of WrestleMania, losing to Sammy and KO. They have them for about 5 or 6 months, losing to Swerve, Fastlane. I know it wasn't Fastlane. The Fastlane, they lost them in Fastlane. What was the pay-per-view? Night of Champions? Was that what it was in September?
Extreme Rules.
So you had them lose at Extreme Rules. 4 weeks later, you have them lose it. And then 2 weeks after that, you have them gain them back to further a storyline. Ultimately, what I see happening, this may be an out for Cody, is because then you have KO and Sammy splitting. That's another swerve I didn't see coming. Sammy and Jay, with all their turmoil of what they've been through and how they've gotten here, perfect tag team. Perfect story.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Like, you make a team out of the dude that beat you at WrestleMania, that pinned you at WrestleMania to end your reign. And now y'all a team, y'all can go after whatever you want to go after.
And, to further what you're saying about these titles, everybody's expecting these long title reigns. Well, I think that's what Triple H is trying to do, is throw a little swerve here and there to say, hey, we're not always going to do these long title reigns.
I don't even think it's a swerve. It's not a swerve.
It might not be a swerve, but
it's changing the dynamic because we're so used to Roman and even Seth now, right? Your main titles and the Intercontinental title and
the U.S. really
the
right
US
now
we're building, right? So with the women's and the tag titles, you're not going to see now. But then again, you have Rhea
and Io.
But Io just freshly won hers, right? And she's defending hers.
True.
Right? Gunther's defending his, right? And so is Ray.
Right.
Nobody else is, and don't get me wrong, Seth is too, but now it's almost comical. It's Seth's defending against Nakamura, and Nakamura's not going to win.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off. The only reign that matters. Stop it.
I mean, listen, man. At some point it's going to end, but it's just, dude, like, I don't know, and it's not going to be Crown Jewel. I'd be pissed if it's Crown. Like, listen, don't get me wrong. It's LA Knight. I get it. It's just not. If you're going to do, you cannot end a 1,000+ day reign on foreign fucking soil. Don't do it. You just don't. I don't know why I don't even know why they booked it this early. I don't know why we're doing this at all.
It sounds like it feels like a throwaway.
Yeah.
It feels like a reason to have Roman there and LA there. And it feels like a throwaway.
But see, I don't even to speak to Steven Berger's comment. Thank you for Rocco to saying hit that like, subscribe. You already know if you already have none up until this point. They've already talked. They want to introduce a new tag title design. There's been talks of a new gold and silver design, with one strap being red, one strap being blue. And they're thinking, I'm thinking like the same belt, but one blue, one red strap. That's still going to be cross-branded. Or they may be doing the same belt with 4 separate titles, right? So they may split it up that way. I also heard there's like a gold belt with black straps. So I don't know what they want to do. I will say I think the tag division is probably the only division that I like it being one champion, so they can go in between brands. Because I don't think the tag divisions on their own, each brand, if they had their own champion, would be strong enough. And I definitely don't like you should have one solidified team hierarchy in WWE. In my opinion, I like it like if the team is strong enough, even if it's like, all right, ultimately this is going to happen, right? If you want to create a SmackDown Tag Team Championship, leave it on its own, Pretty Deadly, all day, hands down. I don't like the ring work, but everything else about them, fucking love it. You know what I mean? But also Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, another one. Like I those two dudes, they look like to me that after all this is said and done, by the way they dress and everything else like that, they will go out to the bar together. They'll go to the club together. Like they're believable to me, right? Obviously, profits and all that stuff, what they got going on. That's why I'm like, I think the tag team title is the one title to where I think it does benefit having one champion that can go in between brands. That's brandless. You know what I mean? So that's just my opinion. I don't think you can do that with obviously Intercontinental. I think there's enough there. US, if they give the US title enough attention, that's enough there. I mean, but look, even with the women's tag team title, they can cross brand as well. You know what I mean? And that's even more of a watered down tag team division.
He's so sad.
Dude, bro. This is because you know what this is? This is last night was a smack in the face and said, okay, we're here. And you kind of get stumbled. Tonight they knocked you down, and they knocked you down for an 8 count, and now you're standing up. It's like, how do you respond now? Like the Diamondbacks just showed the Phillies, like, okay, we didn't play our best yesterday. You didn't play your best yesterday, and we had to come from behind to win. But today they had a 3-run lead, two-thirds through the game. It was 5-2, and they coughed it up. This is the Diamondbacks saying like, yo, yeah, bitch, like we here. We not going nowhere. How do you respond?
It's almost the Astros game today all over again. Just that come behind, and rack up the points and hey, I win.
Yeah. Well, because what was it? I think the Astros won the last 2 games off of like late.
Oh yeah, late. It was stupid late.
Yeah.
3-run home runs, right? Like Altuve hit one in the 9th today.
Yeah.
Why the fuck you're pitching Altuve in that spot anyways beyond me?
Well, last night they just fucking demolished them.
Well, yeah. So it wasn't last night. It was game 3. They won
game
tight.
3 was a late win. Was a stressful win. Game 4 was an ass kicking. And then game 5 was down to the wire.
I mean, everybody at the shop was like, yep, they're done for. And then all of a sudden, fucking just boom out of nowhere. It's 5-2. We're bringing it back, boys.
But all right, I think I share Pete's sentiments though. Like when I think about kind of deflated following the loss tonight, like I'm telling you right now, if there is a World Series game, well, granted, regardless, there's a World Series game on a Friday night, we ain't on.
I mean, for y'all, if Houston wins Saturday, we're probably not gonna be on, and on Sunday. And then if we win, I mean, it's definitely the same.
Yeah.
Well, next Friday I will not be on. I have an annual Halloween party that I must attend.
Okay.
So,
what are you dressing up as?
They're probably not watching this. I'm gonna be a prospect from the Mayans.
Wait, prospect from the mines?
Yeah, like the Mayans motorcycle club. I got
the Mayans. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard
not the
mines?
Indians.
No, mines like you're gonna go mine something.
Oh no,
like gold. And I immediately went Toy Story.
Nah.
So you're saying if Philly makes it to the World Series and it's on a Friday, we're not gone, right?
Correct.
So that means if Philly makes it to the World Series, then we're not going to be on for the next 2 weeks.
Vacation, all I ever wanted.
So
Get away.
Because I'm looking at the schedule going, next Friday is game 1 of the World Series. So for whoever, and then game 6, if it comes to it, is Friday, November 3rd. So again, 2 weeks.
So, but what about if the Astros make it?
I won't. Well, so statistically, right? I do not go up against the World Series.
Okay.
And I try not to. I try not to go up against big, major sporting events. One gives the channel the opportunity to, if they want to do a live reaction of some kind. Right. 2, I fucking know better. 3, all people are going to want to talk about is the game, and I wouldn't want to talk about it.
I mean, but okay, here's a question I posed.
And if it's November 3rd, that's Dallas week.
Ooh.
And I'm already going to be a stressed out mental case because I gotta do all our shows for that week.
But what happens if it just, hear me out, don't everybody boo me at once. What happens? But what happens if it becomes Rangers versus Diamondbacks? Are we going to be on?
No.
Okay. I'm just asking. So it looks like we're not on for the next 2 weeks then.
Probably, yeah. I mean, realistically, right?
No, yeah. I mean, we can just call it from the air, but I'm just saying realistically, it's looking like at least next week.
Right.
Because, I mean, for all we know, the World Series could only go, 4 games, and it'd be the shortest fucking World Series I've ever seen.
I'm still in shock that they lost a 3-run lead.
Yeah. All right, we're getting off the air.
I'm just.
Hush, Pete. Hush.
We want to thank our friends Allen's Travel. Allen's Travel specializes in creating the case of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel agents create a custom vacation for you without any of the stress. Allen's on over to allenz-travel.com/take the trip. To get in touch with myself, Chucks, or any of the other talented travel agents that we have over there at Allen's Travel. We also want to thank Carlino's. We want to thank Royal Billiards. We want to thank Hats.com. We want to thank all our sponsors here at HD Radio. We'll let you guys know if we're doing a show. World Series schedule will be preemptive, right? For Pete Evans, for Butters, I'm Ritz. We'll see you all in the next one. Peace, love, and joy. We out.
Peace, love, and hair grease.